The experimental film Fresh Kill was released in 1994, directed by Shu Lea Cheang, and written by Jessica Hedge-Dorn. The movie describes itself as eco-cybernoia. The film discusses corporate oligarchy under a single company, pollution, environmental racism against developing nations, corporate media, and the role of cyberspace in hacking and activism. The film is tongue-in-cheek, never serious, but always commenting. Its low budget and strange choices in both editing and storytelling make it a compelling watch. Context. The late 80s and early 90s were a time where burgeoning ecological consciousness and activism began to enter the mainstream. Often misguided and ill-informed, these attempts at raising awareness of environmentalism often backfired. For every episode of The Simpsons that discussed environmentalism, there would later be an episode of South Park mocking it. Fresh Kill is part of this mid-90s attempt at social consciousness. Director Shu Lea Cheang got her start at Paper Tiger TV in the 80s. Paper Tiger was an activist collective which formerly aired on public television. Her works at Paper Tiger would form the basis of what would go into Fresh Kill. The queer characters in this movie are groundbreaking for the 90s. Lesbian stories were few and far in between. To this day, most lesbian dramas recycle the same plot. A well-to-do woman encounters a poorer woman, and the two have a doomed, forbidden romance. In Fresh Kill, the couple are all but legally married and are raising a child. The 90s were one of the most homophobic eras in mainstream media. Homophobic and transphobic jokes were a staple of the time. To have a loving, healthy lesbian couple raising a child in a film was unheard of. To this day, it is one of the most positive depictions of a lesbian couple in cinema. Experimental storytelling. Fresh Kill's editing and cinematography are wild, to say the least. Constant cutaways to other stories, slices of life, dreamlike montages, inserted corporate commercials, and pirate transmissions. While amateurish, it absolutely captivates the viewer. It's hard to look away at the sheer amount of visual insanity that's on display. While not necessarily new in filmmaking, it is unique in its relationship to the topic matter. Often activism was portrayed seriously or in mockery. Fresh Kill turns the message into art. In an interview with Bomb Magazine, Shu Lea Cheang says, quote, "Right from the beginning, we made a parallel between waste and the dumping of garbage TV programs in third world countries. Basically, once that was constructed, it seemed like we kept on making parallels. You have the first world, third world, then you have New York, Staten Island, and even within New York City, you have Tent City, a makeshift community of homeless people as a kind of garbage dump." This theme of intertwined lives and waste runs heavy in the film. The main character's home is filled with rescued furniture. Wall Street brokers visit a gallery where all of the work is made with trash. The two are inseparable throughout this film. To avoid spoilers, skip to this time for the conclusion. Discussing the plot does little justice for the film. It is a movie that is best viewed for the experience rather than the plot. The story is loosely held together by a tight, interwoven cast. Shireen and Claire are an interracial lesbian couple raising their daughter together. The two become worried as their daughter begins to glow radioactive green after eating contaminated sushi. This brings them together with their friends Miguel and Louis. Miguel is involved in an underground movement that for the most part is mysterious. He constantly recalls his subway bomber he fell in love with at a glance and never saw again. Louis is a hacker in communication with the African Unity Network, a hacker and activist org dedicated to stopping the dumping of toxic waste on the African continent. All throughout the film, we see commercials for GX, the single megacorporation that runs the world. We see vignettes into the lives of various people tangentially related to the plot. We are also treated to see clips from Mimi's public access TV show. One subplot relates to Shireen's struggle with her indigenous father. Clayton is a hard-boiled former cop who refuses to listen to Shireen. Instead, he opts to ramble on about his own stories. Shireen has yet to come out to him and believes he simply would not accept her. The plot accelerates when Claire and Shireen's child, Honey, is kidnapped. The two throw themselves into corporate espionage and trying to stop GX out of grief. Eventually, the couple and their daughter are reunited when it's revealed that it was Clayton who took her for nothing more than a fishing trip. GX has dealt a massive blow when the African Unity Network kidnapped their CEO. The film ends on a title card explaining that kill is Dutch for stream. Conclusion. Fresh Kill is both a window into the 90s alternative cinema and a dark mirror to the future to come. Today we are ruled by a handful of corporations. The media is owned by a scant few billionaires. Microplastics are in our lungs. Fresh Kill not only predicted this, but presented it in a far more artistic fashion than what came before it. It is both political and artistic. I cannot recommend this movie highly enough, both for fans of alternative 90s subcultures and film snobs. Oh, and before I forgot, there's radioactive cats in the movie.
Yours truly, Mimi. I'll try to stay in trouble.